By the time you do all the press, you had to do press after press after you won. And I ran to this party afterward because I wanted to go to the party.
When Hollywood remembers Sally Field, it remembers her smile. Bright, warm, and unstoppable. But behind that smile was a lifetime of pain, struggle, and heartbreak that even fame couldn't fix. And when she finally opened up, decades later, the truth shocked everyone. From Burt Reynolds' dark secrets to the tragedy she carried since childhood. This is the real story of Sally Field, the actress who conquered Hollywood while silently fighting her own battles. Sally Margaret. Field was born on November 6, 1946, in Pasadena, California. Her life began between two worlds. Her mother, Margaret Field, was an actress at Paramount Pictures, living under the golden glow of Hollywood. Her father, Richard Dryden Field, was a strict Army officer. That strange balance, glamour, and discipline would shape who Sally became. When Sally was only 4 years old, her parents divorced. It was a painful moment that never left her. Then, when her mother remarried actor and stuntman Jock Mahoney, things turned darker. In her 2018 memoir, In Pieces, Sally revealed the truth she had kept secret for over 50 years, that Mahoney abused her when she was a teenager. It changed how she saw herself, how she trusted others, and how she carried pain behind every smile. Acting became her escape. At school, she discovered something that made her feel free: performing. By 17, she had been noticed by a talent scout at a party and soon joined an acting workshop at Columbia Studios. She was a natural. Her charm, her energy, and her vulnerability made her stand out. In 1965, at just 18 years old, she got her first big break in the TV show Gidget, playing a teenage surfer girl. The show lasted only one season, but reruns turned it into a hit. And suddenly, America fell in love with her. ABC quickly gave her another show, The Flying Nun. It was strange, funny, and lighthearted, about a nun who could literally fly. Audiences loved it. But Sally didn't. Behind the scenes, she hated the show. She felt trapped, forced into cute, innocent roles when she wanted more. She later said, "I just wanted to be taken seriously." By the early 1970s, Sally was desperate to change her image. She refused sitcom offers for nearly 3 years, a risky move that could have ended her career. Instead, she joined the Actors Studio in Los Angeles and trained under the legendary Lee Strasberg. She pushed herself to the limit, learning how to turn her pain into performance. At her lowest point, she even thought about quitting acting entirely. But that same pain became her fuel. Then came the role that changed everything. In 1976, she starred in the TV miniseries Sybil, a true story about a woman with 13 different personalities caused by horrific childhood abuse. For Sally, it wasn't just acting. It was personal. She poured her own trauma into the role. During filming, she worked 16-hour days, often breaking down between takes. In one intense scene, she dislocated her shoulder but refused to stop shooting. When Sybil aired, it stunned America. Over 90 million people watched. Critics called it a masterpiece, and Sally won her first Emmy Award. That moment proved she was no longer just a TV face. She was a serious actress. The following year, in 1977, Sally took a role she almost turned down: Smokey and the Bandit. At first, she thought the script was terrible. But then came Burt Reynolds, the biggest movie star in America at the time. He insisted Sally was perfect for the role, even when the studio disagreed. Filming began in Georgia in blistering heat. It was grueling. Long hours, car chases, and chaos. But on set, something happened that would change her life forever. Sally and Burt fell for each other. Their chemistry was instant, the kind you can't fake. She once said, "We had known each other for only a few days, but it felt like years." Behind the laughter and pranks on set, their connection grew deeper. But so did the problems. At first, it was wild and romantic. Burt was 41, confident and charming. Sally was 30, finally free from her TV image. But the love that seemed perfect on screen turned dark off screen. Burt could be controlling, jealous, and unpredictable. He didn't like seeing her succeed without him. Sally later wrote, "From the moment I walked through his door, it was a way to control me." And behind the scenes, she noticed something troubling. Burt was using drugs, painkillers like Percodan and Valium. He was injecting strange substances into his chest, claiming they were vitamins. Sally tried to help, secretly arranging a doctor's visit for him at the Miami Heart Institute. But Burt brushed it off. He refused to change. She loved him deeply. But the relationship became a storm she couldn't survive. Years later, Burt admitted, "She was the love of my life. I miss her terribly. I don't know why I was so stupid." But Sally never spoke to him again. Not for the last 30 years of his life. After Smokey and the Bandit, Sally turned her heartbreak into art. In 1979, she starred in Norma Ray, a working-class drama that became one of the most powerful films of the decade. She played a factory worker fighting for labor rights, and audiences saw something raw and real. The famous scene where she stands on a table holding a union sign was filmed in a blazing hot textile mill. She did her own stunts, sweat pouring down her face, determined to make it perfect. The film earned her first Oscar and the respect of Hollywood. When she walked on stage that night in 1980, she was smiling, but her voice shook with emotion. It wasn't just an award. It was proof she had finally been seen. 5 years later, in 1984, she won her second Oscar for Places in the Heart. At first, she almost turned the role down, thinking it was too similar to Norma Ray. But the director convinced her to take it, and once again, she poured her soul into it. Her acceptance speech became one of the most famous in Oscar history. She said, "I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now, you like me." It was a moment of pure relief, a lifetime of doubt melting away. Hollywood finally respected Sally Field. Through the late 80s and 90s, Sally continued to prove her range. In Steel Magnolias, she made audiences cry as a mother mourning her daughter. That funeral scene, raw, trembling, unforgettable, remains one of her most powerful performances. In Mrs. Doubtfire, she balanced humor and heartbreak, holding her own beside Robin Williams's comedic genius. And in Forrest Gump, she played the role everyone remembers, Mrs. Gump, the mother who told her son, "Life is like a box of chocolates." She was only 10 years older than Tom Hanks in real life, but she made it believable through emotion and subtlety. Every role she took was layered with truth, pain, love, and quiet strength. Off-screen, Sally was just as fearless. She became a devoted mother to her 3 sons, Peter, Eli, and Sam, all of whom found their way into the entertainment world. Her youngest son, Sam, came out as gay when he was 19. Sally didn't just accept him, she became one of Hollywood's most vocal advocates for LGBTQ+ rights. She often said, "Sam has always been Sam, this amazing human being." Her activism won her the Ally for Equality Award from the Human Rights Campaign in 2012, a moment made even more emotional when Sam presented it to her on stage. Sally Field never stayed silent when something mattered. At the 2007 Emmy Awards, after winning for her role in Brothers and Sisters, she famously said, "If mothers ruled the world, there would be no goddamn wars in the first place." Fox cut her speech short on live TV, but the message was already out. Sally had never been afraid to speak truth, even when it made people uncomfortable. In 2012, she gave one of her greatest performances yet, playing Mary Todd Lincoln in Steven Spielberg's Lincoln. She gained 25 pounds for the role, studied the First Lady's life, and fought to prove she could handle the part. Even Daniel Day-Lewis was impressed by her emotional depth. Her performance earned her another Oscar nomination, proof that even after 5 decades, Sally Field was still unstoppable. Then, in 2022, she surprised everyone once again. In an interview, Sally revealed that her on-screen kiss with Burt Reynolds in Smokey and the Bandit was actually terrible. She laughed, saying, "It was just not something he did very well." Fans were shocked. After all, their chemistry looked perfect on screen. But that was the magic of acting and the pain of reality. She also admitted that she never really liked the Smokey and the Bandit script. She and Burt had to improvise most of their lines, creating the charm that made the movie a box office hit. What fans didn't see was the emotional cost, the love story that began in laughter but ended in silence. Today, Sally Field stands as one of Hollywood's most respected and beloved actresses. From Gidget to Lincoln, from laughter to tears, she has lived every emotion on screen and survived every storm off it. She once said, "Acting saved me. It gave me a way to speak when I couldn't find the words." Through trauma, heartbreak, and triumph, Sally Field never gave up. And even now, at 79, her story reminds us that strength isn't about being unbreakable. It's about being broken and choosing to rise again. She made America laugh, cry, and believe. But behind every smile, there was a story. One she finally dared to tell. Sally Field, the woman who turned pain into power and silence into something unforgettable,